Hello and welcome to my world in a casual review. This time we're talking about Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. I played the PlayStation 4 version. And of course it's the second of the two Spider-Man games I played this year. And while I played the older one back in the spring, I played this one in the summer. And after, taking a few weeks between the two games, so this way not to be too influenced or biased towards the older game. Although after playing Spider-Man Miles Morales, I kind of feel that this game could have been so much more and should have been equal to its predecessor, at least in terms of actually having things to do and being a fair completion experience in terms of a single playthrough. And I'll get more into that in the later. First, let's talk about the positives here. Spider-Man's Miles Morales does an excellent job of introducing Miles and his supporting cast of his mother, his best friend Genki, his uncle Alvin, and just focusing on his world, his struggles, his concerns of being the only Spider-Man in town when Peter is off with Mary Jane to cover the issues in Silver Sable's home country. So Miles is on his own. Everything from how Miles can occasionally land in the badly and being somewhat uncoordinated in terms of his movements. If you're doing tricks as Miles when you're web swinging, there are times it does not seem as fluid or as graceful as compared to Peter in the previous game. That is clearly intentional. And this is really driven home by the fact that if you are not paying attention, Miles can end up landing flat on his face on the pavement, which is downright hilarious. But it is a wonderful touch that really drives home that he does not have Peter's experience. And the fact that over the course of this game, you are essentially seeing Miles is progressing, his various powers unlocking, the venom stuns, his ability to camouflage himself, and as well as being a big part of his local community, and just being the antithesis of Peter, where Peter Parker, if you don't familiar with a lot of Spider-Man's early goings-ons and in that character's career, did not really ingratiate himself with the community as much at least in comparison to Miles. And so Miles, with the fact that the big move of him and his mother moving to Harlem following the death of his father in the first game, and seeing him gradually working into the community, interacting with a mural artist, interacting with the local bodega owner who has a cat named Spider-Man. Miles is essentially earning his place in the community. The fact that one of the final lines in the game that is said before the end credits roll is like that is our Spider-Man really drives home that fact that that this is a character progression story. It is not truly an origin story, because you get that in the first Spider-Man game, but in this game you get the growth of Miles Morales to where he could call himself Spider-Man without question. That there will be like no doubt if you see one Spider-Man, if you saw the classic Spider-Man or if you saw Miles, it's like you just say, yeah, that's Spider-Man no matter which one it is. It's like, oh, it's the Spider-Man. So it does wonderful work. Now, gameplay wise, essentially it plays the same as the first game. There are some differences. Miles does have some unique gimmicks and combinations. He does not have all of Peter's gadgets that were really fun to use, but that is made up with that Miles has powers, the Venom Strike, the Venom Smash, Venom Dash, all really useful in terms of clearing out, making space, and dealing with a wide variety of enemies. But more so the underground than the Roxxon soldiers. Rhino being like the big villain from Peter's Rogues Gallery that makes a couple of major appearances in the story, really works, and although the gameplay mechanics are kind of the same. But also keep in mind that Rhino is essentially someone that we ran into a lot because we struggled with Miles' stealth section in the first game. So Rhino being Miles' nemesis of sorts kind of works in terms of like one of the big legendary big bads. A lot of the boss fights are fairly few and far between. You have like major combat encounters, and more so than anything else. The crimes and like completion and doing everything across the city, it's kind of weird in a way. It has a lot of comparison to Gotham Knights in terms of, okay, crimes are just going to pop up anywhere, and if you're in the area, okay, deal with them. Otherwise, there's really no consequence to it. Although there is an achievement associated with doing doing the side objectives on every single type of crime that pops up, which is one of the final things we did once I realized what it was and how to really make use of Miles's mechanics in that regard. Trying to think what else. Music wise, I really can't say much because of all the licensed music. I had the music basically muted for the most part. Like those who watch the stream or watch the archive version on YouTube will faintly be able to hear the licensed music, but again, I really went out of my way to turn it down, so I really can't comment on that. But the sound effects, dialogue, voice acting, that is all top notch, so real positives there. So let's talk about the negatives. Spider-Man Miles Morales has a big problem in that it is essentially a reskin of the prior Spider-Man game, just without the while it has the same scale in terms of making full use of New York. So you're going from the north side of town all the way down to the south side. You're going to hit all the same landmarks, everything, like every place that you could visit in the prior Spider-Man game you can visit here, just with a nice little wintry late December mix. So you have that. So it's a reskin, and the big negative of that is like you don't have as many things to do. The prior Spider-Man game, this is in its comparison of the base game, where I found myself like, okay, I'm going to focus on doing everything in one particular area before I move on, and having everything taken care of. That with Spider-Man Miles Morales, you don't have as many things to do. You don't have as many side quests and stuff to do. So it's because it's more grounded in a way, and I kind of feel that hurts. You don't really, though, a book portion of this, you don't even have that many. You only have like 6 major bases to go to. 3 for the underground, 3 for the Roxxon Energy. In comparison to all the bases and infiltration stuff that you got in the first game, you only have like 6. In this game, it's like, why? Again, I understand downscaling it, but when you have all that space, particularly when you have so many open areas to go to, you really should have been more. And this is really driven home by the fact that they go out of the way. If you're listening to the podcast, you learned that the underground had all those ties to Tombstone, and had those run-ins and had run-ins with the demons. So if you so having played, Spider-Man and gone through all of its DLC, like hearing all the stuff, like, wow, there was so much left on the table here that you could have done so much more. So there's that, and it really comes down to with it, because you have all the space, you have the same size map to traverse, but but at the same time, you don't have as many things to do. Like if you're with my approach to playing this game being the same as the first one, it's like when I was able to estimate, it's like, oh shoot, I was going to be able to finish this game in less time than the prior one. Again, minus the DLC, and it's like they really like left a lot was left on the table, I feel, in terms of a gameplay experience. And this carries over into one of my biggest gripes about some video games, and that is putting max level content, not like a hidden difficulty. I'm talking not being allowed to unlock everything in a single playthrough. This is a complaint I'm also going to be having about Gotham Knights when I do a casual review of that. In that Spider-Man Miles Morales, you cannot unlock all the costumes, all of Miles' abilities. You can't do that in a single playthrough. You are essentially forced to do a new game plus run to do that. And with the fact that this game has a lack of content to that really bothers me to a large degree. This isn't like, say, Mass Effect, another game where you are encouraged to do a new game plus run and do things differently. Here, with Spider-Man Miles Morales, you're basically, if you want to get as many of the trophies that are possible in this game, you have to do 2 playthroughs, or because there is one playthrough trophy achievement attached to completing the game a second time, and it's like that is not fair to a gamer. It's like you're trying to justify the initial sales price, in which you really can't do. This is not like a Saints Row 4 situation where the map was smaller in comparison to Saints Row the Third. But you had a lot of stuff to do in Saints Row 4. It's like the map was made smaller, but you end up getting still an equal amount, or if not more, to do, depending on how you go about completing Saints Row 4. Spider-Man Miles Morales, you're being forced to do everything again. Maybe not so much in terms of like doing all the side quests again, but to go through the story, level up, go through the grind to get those last levels, to unlock those last abilities, and gadget upgrades. Put it mildly, that's just horseshit. And I'm gonna be repeating these same thoughts again with Gotham Knights, because that is another game that I'm playing this year, or I have played this year by the time this video is live on YouTube, where I'm going to have that exact same complaint regarding. It's like because there is no excuse for it. I can understand it was like having replay value, but no. So with that said, it's like my recommendation when it comes to Spider-Man Miles Morales. I do recommend it. If you play the first Spider-Man game, you're gonna love this one. And if you're wanting to get that experience, like and play playing both games in preparation for Spider-Man 2, which is coming out in October on the PlayStation 5, yeah, play them. But unlike the first game, Spider-Man Miles Morales isn't worth completing. It's worth finishing, but it's not worth completing in terms of getting a going through all the headache and stuff that you should have been allowed to do in the initial playthrough, and being coerced to play the game again. It's like no. Now, I more likely I will play this game again for to go after the new game plus achievement. But it would be end up being a reluctant playthrough if I have nothing else on the docket in terms of games that are not on the Xbox console that I want to play. So that's kind of where it is there. So anyway, with that said, boy, I had a lot more negative things to say about this game than I thought. But my gripes are like it is what it is there. So anyway, tighten your friendship bracelets, stay safe, leave your thoughts, opinions, and tell me how wrong I am regarding Spider-Man Miles Morales, because I know anybody that has watched this video to the very end is probably going to take me to task with that. But put it in the comment section below, and stay safe, and we'll hopefully see y'all in the next video.